Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. We are here today to talk about the darker side of the greed culture that exists in Magic the Gathering. Although what we're going to talk about isn't just limited to Magic the Gathering, but because of the value of the cards and what we're dealing with, this is something that we see happening in a number of different ways. I got a couple of different stories. One is more severe than the other. These are all recent developments. One of them actually made the news. So we're going to talk about one thing we're going to talk about is a theft, and another is a scenario where there's no actual theft involved, but due to the breakdown of value metrics and things like that, it's essentially ruined a friendship. So I wanted to take some time. I like to occasionally take some time to remind people that Magic cards are just Magic cards and that people matter. Originally, that's what I was going to talk about with just the whole friendships being ended over this. But then after finding out about this news story, I was like, well, this ties into the subject as well. So let's start out with the news story about a major theft where somebody was actually home when they got robbed. That's how it works, right? It's a burglary if nobody's home, and it's robbery if someone's home, even if the burglar does. I don't know the classifications of crimes. Use whatever term you want. Burglary, robbery, dealing with the Magic community. Everybody likes to get all technical. Come down to the comments. To be fair, it wasn't a robbery, it was a burglary. It's like, who cares? It's not really that important, okay? We're not in a court of law here, okay? So, this happened in Sacramento, apparently. Kayla Bridges is the individual that this happened to. So the article's actually really short. I'll just read the whole thing out here and then we will talk about it. So Kayla Bridges was home alone just a few weeks ago when she heard someone break into her apartment. She hid in her closet and waited for the thief to leave. When she emerged, she realized part of her valuable Magic cards collection. This is hilarious because this is done by an organization that doesn't really know. They don't know about Magic cards, right? They're going to do a quick wiki search or whatever, and they put in a comment, Magic cards. So her Magic card, part of her valuable Magic cards collection was gone. It's unwieldy the way they use it. She says the decks that were stolen are worth thousands of dollars. Bridges plays Magic cards professionally all around the country and is known throughout the card-playing community. Police say that's why this crime was most likely committed by someone she knows. This was put under the tags of inside job. It's weird because when you think of an inside job, it's more like this person works inside that. When I saw Magic cards and theft and inside job, my brain went to, okay, an LGS must have been robbed by an employee or something like that. That's where your brain goes. Anyhow, it says the thief didn't steal electronics or anything else of value, just the cards. Bridges says they must have known what playing cards she owned and where they were. So far, police have not identified a suspect. So on that last note, where they haven't identified a suspect, it's funny to be like, it's an inside job. We don't know who did it. But you just, wait, how can it be an inside job? Let's look at this logically. First of all, when it said Kayla Bridges is a professional player who's known throughout the card playing community, I'm going to admit I had no idea who Kayla Bridges was. I was like, I don't know who this is. I'm gonna look it up, and sure enough, yes, she is indeed someone who plays Magic on a competitive level and gets some decent placements as well. She's got you know what? I'll put down a link. I'll link to the Twitter down there in the description if you want to go and check out what she's got going on. Apparently she's a Twitch streamer or whatever, does some modeling, is actually pretty cute as well. I mean, that doesn't hurt, but either way, honestly, looking at her, she looks like a pretty small girl. You know what I mean? Woman, whatever. Either way, you get what I'm saying. She's not some big physically intimidating style individual. So I can see why when she heard someone break into her house, it's like, nah, son, I'm getting in the closet. I'll just be in here until whoever it is leaves. Now, I'm with the police on this. It does seem to me like most likely this is going to be someone who knows her and knows what she possesses, right? When you have a break-in, when someone burglarizes your home, breaks in to take your stuff, generally they're going to grab high-value items, right? Things that you can sell to almost anybody. If it's a random off-the-street thief, the likelihood of them knowing about Magic cards is virtually zero. That's when you're going to see things like your TV, your computer, like your cell phone, if for some reason you have an extra phone laying around, your Nintendo Switch, your tablets, stuff that can be grabbed and sold easily. A lot of pawn shops or other places selling on like a Craigslist, whatever it is, more easy to liquidate items are going to disappear. If none of that is missing, but thousands of dollars of Magic cards are, where it's like, okay, they didn't take any of this stuff, but my hotness, my modern decks are gone. You know, it has to be somebody who knows about Magic value. First of all, it has to be somebody who knows about Magic value. Secondly, they have to know you. They have to know you play Magic and have these cards. And Magic cards have risen in value to the point where these thefts are quite profitable. And on top of that, Magic cards are, a little bit, something going on my throat. Magic cards are not identifiable in terms of, unless you have a card that's got like a signature on it or has a very particular wear pattern, you're not going to be able to identify your card. If I took your copy of Thoughtseize and shuffled it in with 20 other Thoughtseizes that weren't your Thoughtseize, most likely you're not going to be able to tell me which was your Thoughtseize, especially nowadays where all cards are taken better care of. Almost all Magic cards end up being sleeved or double sleeved if you're a tournament player. So your cards are essentially going to be in pristine condition. And pristine condition cards are indistinguishable from each other. They all look the same. So this is something that's easy to get away with. If you have a large Magic collection, you're already connected in the Magic community, you know how to liquidate cards or whatever, this is just going to be easy money. Well, I mean, aside from the fact that you literally have to break into somebody's house and commit a crime. So this is the case of somebody that this individual knows. She may personally know the person, or this may be someone from like a playgroup, a store, or whatever. It might not be a friend, but it's close enough to a friend that it fits into the concept of the video, where it's like you have to a certain degree, be aware that you can be friendly with people, but once value of money and cards enters into it, it changes the way that people's brains operate. It appeals to the lizard brain that's buried deep in there, that's just greedy and only cares about yourself, right? Like everybody has that lizard brain. How much it's active and how much you stop it from acting up or whatever else, like this, it's not the same across the board. Not everybody is a compulsive thief. We're not all out there breaking into people's places and taking things, right? But it does exist. And what is the proverb? It's something like opportunity makes the thief. If somebody doesn't know that you have thousands and thousands of dollars worth of Magic cards in your home, they can't come and take those Magic cards because they don't know they exist, right? They're not going to, but if you show off all this stuff, and also, I mean, again, in the case of Kayla, I feel for her because she's got the waif vibe. Do you know what I mean? And that's just like, she looks like a thin, slender little thing. So, I mean, what's she gonna do if some big old smelly Magic player, the contrast, if some big old smelly Magic player breaks in? Sure, Magic players aren't that like big to begin with in a lot of cases. It's not like Magic is loaded down with big old jock boys with giant throbbing muscles or anything. But I mean, when you're a smaller woman, you're not going to be able to defend yourself as effectively in terms of pure raw strength. Yes, you can go and get self-defense training, and there are other things you can use to level the playing field to a degree. But it's a situation where it makes you feel extra bad because it's like you're literally in your own home and you couldn't prevent this from happening to you. So that's a really unfortunate thing, and really it's an illustration of be aware of who you're letting know like what you own and where you live, right? That is something you need to be aware of, because the cards, they warp the way that people act. I have had multiple things stolen from me. I remember actually there was a couple of people in my group of friends who were actively stealing cards from me. And I had no clue until the one day I just happened to like they would be sitting on a couch or something like that, using part of the couch to obscure as they were dropping cards out of a pile they're looking through, and then they would pocket the cards. Well, one day I actually happened to catch them in the act and realized that this had been happening for a while and a whole bunch of stuff had been stolen from me because I was too trusting. And I'm not saying this to tell you to view everybody like, oh my God, I got my eye on you, I got my eye on you. But don't be too trusting as well. Don't be naive like I was. As you get older, you will start to get a better bead on the type of people who are trustworthy versus the type of people who are untrustworthy. But that's not like a hard and fast, solid, automatic kind of thing where you're always going to get it. So you need to be safe and smart when it comes to this kind of stuff. We see people breaking into the trunks of cars at big Magic tournaments to steal bags worth like tons and tons of valuable cards. And if you already have a big Magic collection, you can just bloop those cards into there and they're gone, like vapor in the wind, right? So the theft was the first thing I wanted to talk about. Now the second one is they're both sad stories, but different variations. And the second one we're going to talk about isn't as egregious. Like, it's not on the same level as breaking into somebody's house, but it is still going to illustrate the whole, like, be careful around Magic values and the way that people get because of card values. So this is somebody who is asked on Reddit if there are rules, like it's a rules question. And the title says, can I dispute who took home the rares in a two-headed giant draft? So it says, me and my partner drafted Battle Bond, and this is partner as in friend, partner for the Battle Bond event, not partner as in significant other. So, me and my partner drafted Battle Bond and did a two-headed giant draft. We agreed on what packs were ours ahead of time and agreed to keep what rares we got from them. All good and well. Draft went on as normal, and my partner and I got a couple of decent pulls. We get to the last pack, which we agreed was mine, and opened a foil Rowan and foil Will. If you guys don't know, Battle Bond had this setup where basically there were partner cards. And if you got the partner cards, you would actually get both. So in this case, what he cracked was actually two foil mythic rares in the same pack. So he opened the foil Rowan and foil Will, which were worth $35 a piece. We didn't know the price. My partner said it was fine for me to have both. Even though we'd agreed a while back, it was mine regardless. But after learning the prices, he said that I had to choose one for me and one for him to keep. I thought he was joking since we'd already agreed they were mine beforehand. But the night ends and he says that he says he gets the Will, and if I wanted it, he wanted the full price. So he's basically like, I'm going to keep Will Rowan unless you give me $35 cash. I didn't want to make a scene, but to say I'm a little ticked off is an understatement. But I don't want to cause trouble for the store, so before I go dispute this, I need to make sure who owns what cards after a two-headed giant game, and can the store enforce it? And then there's an edit that's added on as well, because a whole bunch of people chimed in with varying opinions. So the edit says, this post got a lot more comments than I expected it to, so I'll make a few general statements to some of the comments here. Me and my friend are no longer friendly to each other because of this, and certainly won't be doing two-headed giant again with each other anytime soon. As far as strong arming my card away from him, we're in a public place with essentially a he said situation. So me just grabbing it and walking away is not going to look good on me, and I would receive way more trouble from the other people around me, as it looks like I just tried to steal some other guy's cards. As shitty and annoying as it is, I'm not going to make an ass of myself over a single card, regardless of the fact that it is my property. I'll try and confront him one more time as we're both playing in the store's Brawl tournament on Tuesday, but I doubt he will change his tune, so it looks like I just spent $15 to figure out how good a friend he is. Apparently not a friend at all, and he's just in it for the money cards. Sad days, thanks for all the replies. So we have a scenario here where a friendship has been ruined over a single $35 card. That's not even $35, because you have to actually be able to sell a card for its full value to get that $35. So you have an entire friendship that has, these guys were good enough friends that they would play in two-headed giant events together, and over one single card worth $35, it has fractured their friendship. On top of that, it's going to make this individual who had it happen to him feel uncomfortable in future events, possibly with new people. If he's playing with someone else, like, okay, are they going to pull the same kind of thing with me? And I mean, the guy felt like he's so upset about this, he feels the need to try and go and talk to the store and see if they can enforce like this guy giving the card back. So in the comments, you do have people giving ridiculous advice. Just take the card from him, physically grab the card, go into his binder and take it. Now, this dude who made the post has the right perspective. He's right. It is a he said scenario. Nobody else was there, right? You don't have it recorded. You don't have a contract. You have nothing in writing. It's not going to stand up in court. Not that anyone would take it that far, but you get what I'm saying in terms of like, there is no concrete agreement you can point to and say whatever. It's really just, this is what we agreed to. And now he's changing it because there's a $35 card on the line. So you have a scenario where honestly, if everything went the way it was explained in this little Reddit post, I feel for this guy. Because if you agree beforehand, you're going to get to keep who's going to get to keep what's in different packs, and then something big gets cracked and you're trying to change it, that's scummy. That is scummy behavior. I've had it happen to me where I've split packs with people and I saw them get better stuff than me. And inside I'm like, oh man, but that's it. There's no part of me that's like, no, you know what? You owe me this now because you got this much value. If you're that kind of a person, you need to openly communicate at the beginning and say, look, I'm okay with you keeping the pack unless something absolutely insane comes out of it, in which case I want some kind of compensation. You just need to, you have to be clear with each other from the get-go. It's not worth it to sacrifice your friendship over a cardboard rectangle. I remember when people would get really heated about Magic cards and their value in the back of the gaming store that I hung out in for most of my life, the store owner would come back and destroy a valuable card in front of them. He would take like a dual land or something, and he'd take a pair of scissors and snip it in front of them and go, these are just cards. These are just cards. People matter. And that's it. That's what I'm trying to do here with this video as well. It's basically like, at the end of the day, guys, remember, they're just cardboard rectangles. It's a luxury that we get to owe them. But the real true luxury and the real magic is the friendship, is the people we get to play with. The fact that we get to have this time to enjoy Magic together. You get to build new friendships. You get to hang out having a good time. That's why we're all the sixth color of Magic. We're the real deal. So just bear that in mind. Don't get sucked up in the greed and the value monging and all this sort of stuff, because it will lessen you. Imagine giving up a friendship with somebody over a $35 cardboard rectangle. That's absolutely insane. Two people have lost a friend for, if you break it across two people, a difference of $17.50 a piece. That's absurd. And that can actually destroy fairly strong friendships too. Money warps things. Like I said, it's the lizard brain. Don't let the lizard brain guide your actions, my friends. So thanks for coming by. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I will link, I believe her name was Kayla. I will link her Twitter in the description if you want to go by and say hello or say, oh, it sucks you got robbed, or whatever you want to do. If you're curious, it'll be there since I'm mentioning it anyways. And you know what? I'll put the Reddit post in too if you want to go and have a read through the comments and stuff. So that stuff will be listed in the description. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Big shout out to all my patrons and channel members. Thank you for supporting the channel. I will see all of you lovely folk tomorrow. What's this in the background? Oh wow, the books, they're stacked so high you can see them. Funky. All right, anyways, get on up out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow.